Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our audience watching Righteous Way, Righteous Say today. I'm Shiari, and this is Shima, and we are going to be sharing what Miles Guo revealed about the CCP virus and pandemic. This is the 4th episode, and there will be plenty of discussions revolving around the pandemic and also about Hong Kong, which is where we started off last time, or where we ended our episode last time. So as a small refreshment, this is the page where we shared last time, where we said that the CCP was originally planning to
do harm
to
spread out the CCP virus to do harm to Hong Kong people.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's have a look at what else Miles Guo has to say on the 7th of March 2020. So he said, "Now, when the Hong Kong police beat people, the most common phrase they say is, 'I'll put your entire family to death.' These are the favorite words of the Chinese Communist Party police, and it's become widespread to no return. The second phrase is, 'I'll infect your family with the virus. Then I'll kill you.'
So
what
it's
kind
really
of police
terrible,
is this?
right? Yes, it's very terrible.
Is this even a police? Can we call this a police anymore? This is, I think it's more like a criminal organization, something that they would say."
Yes, wrongly, I agree with you. You are right, Eddie. People cannot believe that this is Chinese region, this is the CCP region, because they are evil region. They are supported by the international communism and also with the support of Illuminati. That's why all of these, they are the gangster, they are the monster, and they are the evil dark forces. That's why all of these policemen, actually they are civil servants, they are public officer, but they just use these words and sentences as
a threat.
Yes, a threat. And they just do it every day. This is their norm. This is abnormal, actually.
Yeah, it's
country.
It's our abnormal, but it's their norm.
Yes.
Because they are incredibly, I don't know, like it's hard to imagine what a dictatorship would think.
Yes.
But they use this kind of threats, and they use their police role or status as a threat and a shield against protesters. Exactly. And this is not in a way to say to protect themselves. It's a way to inflict harm on the people that just want to say their opinions. In the context, this was this was during the 2019 protest in Hong Kong. And they were protesting the CCP's rule and the CCP's influence in Hong Kong.
Yes.
Along with a lot of other things. Can you share more about it, Shima?
Actually, when we read these kind of words Miles Guo shared in his live stream in 2020, people think that is, a story passed by and it cannot, happen again. No. In CCP region, these kind of words be used to threat people by policemen every day.
Yes.
Every day.
And the fact is, it's become a popular word. It's become a favorite word. What kind of government is this? How are they governing the country? They're threatening the people with these words. And you can only imagine what kind of other sentences they could say. But just these two sentences, which are their favorite phrases, are really revealing on how they think about people, how they think about dissidents that protest against the CCP's rule. And in fact, here, they have already used the term of the virus. So it's not just a simple
They
thing.
know everything. They know everything,
they know
actually.
It to every detail. They know it very well. So this is an intentional thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you
so
have
CCP virus got another version, another story,
Exactly.
and that kind of version of story is not the story people read from the newspaper and listen to any kinds of radio or any media platform. You cannot get this kind of story because even the Hong Kong police and those policemen, not the local policemen or the original policemen served for Hong Kong people or Hong Kong government, but other policemen, the CCP region, to manipulate and also to move from the mainland China. And also they use this kind of, dark and evil policemen. Actually, they're running dogs. Instead of the original or the old policeman, the Hong Kong policeman, because Hong Kong policemen in the Hong Kong people's mind, actually they are very respectful, and very friendly. Yes, and that is a real Hong Kong policeman under the democracy. But in CCP region, or when Hong Kong be hand over from United Kingdom to CCP region, everything just changed. Yeah, everything just changed and completely.
Like you might think, oh, but there's like an agreement they signed, or the CCP said they would protect Hong Kong.
The CCP is very good at telling lies. Don't forget that.
Exactly. They can say one thing and do something else. And look at this. They are an absolute two-faced government because on the surface...
They are many-faced monster.
They are.
Don't trust
on the
CCP
surface,
region.
They're saying we'll protect the people. But look what they say to actual people underneath their mask. So when they say intentionally, I'll infect your family with a virus,
that means they know CCP virus.
They know the virus and they know what they can do
the
with
real
it.
function. And also when we discuss this kind of paragraph or this kind of abnormal behavior of Hong Kong police nowadays, and we should ask everyone, even ask ourselves, what is the function of police? What is the function of policemen, police women? Because one thing we would like to clarify like this, because this kind of program not only serve for some people already knew, like us, already knew the evilness of CCP, but for people outside of whistleblower movement or some Western people,
for people that might not really know who Miles Guo is or about the whistleblower movement.
Yes, that's why we should present out this question to everyone. What is a function or what is a job a police should do? A policeman or a policewoman?
Yes.
Should they just send out this kind of, unacceptable sentence? Yes, acceptable sentence, from them? No, we can't. And we would like to, but this is natural now. This is a new law in Hong Kong now. And also, another thing we should bear in our mind, everybody will understand. And then, consequently, we'll ask another question. If police function or duty or responsibility is to serve for the people, serve for the government, and they are the civil servant and the public servant to the people in their community, and they got their income, they got their money from the taxpayer.
Exactly.
Yes. So do you think they should, as a public servant, any policeman, policewoman, because your income is from the taxpayer people, can you send out, can you speak out, can you, can share this kind of meaning, this kind of shameful sentence to the people?
To the innocent people. It's people, these people haven't done any crime. They have simply protested on the street.
Peacefully.
And they peacefully protested. It wasn't
on the street.
Violent. They didn't attack the police, but the police attacked first. Can anyone explain who is right and who is wrong here?
Yes.
It's very obvious.
Yes. But, Eddie, we should remind our, audience, there is another special story embedded in this kind of happening, because the evil Chinese, the evil CCP region, they are very good at some strategy in infiltrate, because they send out some dark policemen, policewomen, act as the ordinary people.
Oh yes.
Yes. And we often, in Chinese phrase, we have one word 掺沙子, that means to mix some bad people in some ordinary people,
crowd.
yes, and do some crime, but you don't know, and then the policemen have some reason to put the people,
I see. So
yes.
it's like infiltrating.
Yes, infiltrating.
And it's
yes.
almost like a spy sort of thing. And they
yes.
will use a couple people dressed as protesters.
Yes, especially in Hong Kong movement, there are so many so-called dark dress, dark clothes or dark coat. I don't know people how to, because I quickly, translate in English. That means they send out some policemen, policewomen wearing, some dark clothing, dark, T-shirt, and they label out. Only they can know these people on our side. Oh. Those people, not the ordinary people, they are our people. We send to infiltrate because
obvious.
They got some, how to say, the band, the armband, or they got some, special label on the, the dress or T-shirt, and they can, quickly differentiate, among the mass people on the street.
That makes total sense of how they have brought this entire thing. Have brought this entire protest into like almost like a war, because
that's why if you watch some live stream or some videos people taken on the street, especially for some journalists, because they quickly snapped a lot of pictures and videos on Hong Kong movement streets during that time, and people notice that sometimes these, very evil Hong Kong policemen sent by the mainland, China, on behalf of the CCP regime, they will quickly, to drag the ordinary people, the innocent people on the street and use that stick and any kinds of weapon to hit them, hit the head and let them, to be, how to say, badly beaten on the street or in some invisible corner. But with their own people, they put in the mixed in the crowd and they will protect them. So that's different. Yes.
Well, this must be very obvious. I mean, people, if you're watching this, you can also go online and search the Hong Kong anti-extradition movement.
Yes, you will find a lot of evidence.
And you can go online, have a search, look at some live streams or videos. But just a warning, it might be pretty extreme.
Yes.
But like you can see for yourself if there are any suspicious details about that.
Yeah.
Miles Guo also shared there were 7,000 so-called suicides in Hong Kong. 7,000 people. In less than a year, in 8 to 10 months, 7,000 people were allegedly forced to commit suicide. Then think about the coronavirus. Initially, Hong Kong had the highest number of infections, but the number dropped sharply. And then Wuhan had a direct outbreak.
So this is really strange and fresh for a lot of people, even our audience. Because,
fresh information.
Yes, because a lot of people think the first outbreak only happened in Wuhan. But actually, according to Miles Guo's intelligence or his, private, information channel, actually for CCP virus, because if we know CCP virus is presented or leak out of P4 laboratory just because they want to control or to get rid of the Hong Kong movement, the Hong Kong people in protest on the streets. So when you read each sentence here, can provide you some different information you cannot get on other platforms. Yes, other channels or, media platforms. So we should, that's why our program is try to bring more as we can, not only to our whistleblower movement, fellow fighters, but also for any kinds of people in this world. What is the truth behind the CCP virus, and what happened during the whole pandemic? What is the real story?
So in an interesting thing here, I'm looking at the last part. They said initially Hong Kong had the highest number of infections,
yes,
but the number dropped sharply.
No one mentioned that.
No one mentioned
that. Means before Wuhan's outbreak, Hong Kong already got a very high number of infections, in that time period. Before Wuhan outbreak.
How the CCP would release the virus. And in a previous episode on this channel, we mentioned that the virus, of course, was manufactured and made in the Wuhan P4 lab. But maybe they first made it in the P4 lab, and then they chose a different place, which is Hong Kong, to release
as
the virus.
Some trial or testing.
Maybe, yeah.
Also, that might be another thing they would like to do.
I wonder how long it was that they decided that then, or how long the time period would be before they had it in Wuhan. But that is a really interesting point.
Very interesting and very strange. We should remind our audience to notice this. And also, just now Eddie pointed out, the number dropped sharply in Hong Kong, the infectious people's number. Why? We should ask why. What kind of the reason behind that?
I wonder how we're able to do that.
Yes. Why? This quickly spread infectious CCP virus among the people in Hong Kong, and also got the highest number of infections and just sharply, dropped in very short time. And also how to understand Miles Guo's information here in 2020, why in less than a year, more than around 7,000 suicide. Remember the word so-called.
So-called
how to understand that?
Of course, if you have known the CCP's way of behavior long enough, you would know that probably none of those were actually suicides.
Yes.
All of those were murder, or like someone else murdering
This
them.
is also massacre in Hong Kong, but people don't know.
But it's covered in another term.
Yes.
So people might look at it and think, it's obviously bad, but it's normal. Like, people might think that if they look at this news, and it's just in 8 to 10 months.
Yes.
I believe the year that Miles Guo was talking about was 2019 to 2020. And so during that period was obviously the protests and the movement in Hong Kong. So the CCP has been targeting protesters.
You hit the target,
yes.
And I think you are very right in some, analysis. But I want to return to this topic for this word suicide, because in my mind now, I have several possible reasons or stories behind the happening. As discussing, given the tips of information from this paragraph, I think there might be some possible reasons. First one, it could be, suicide, as they so-called. And another thing is, according to CCP evilness, their norm, everybody know what kind of the norm evilness for them, they can do, because they will beaten the people to death and pretend to, the whole environment, and let people think that is suicide. That is the second one.
They totally can.
Yes, and the third one, overlap the information with Miles Guo's, some hints here. That means if we considering CCP virus and the great number infectious in Hong Kong, that could be among these 7,000 people, so-called suicide, could be people really suicide, tortured to, choose suicide, and also beaten to death and pretend to, suicide. The third one is CCP virus infectious to, death. So this is 3 possible reasons we can read from this paragraph.
True. But again, it doesn't really matter in the end how they died, but the number itself is also astounding. Even if it is what they broadcast on the news, that this had no connection with the government or anything, it's still
that's a very good point. We should ask Hong Kong government, do you know this kind of, numbers, suicide numbers in 1 year? Have you provided Hong Kong people or the whole world or whole Chinese people? Because Hong Kong is part of China. Everybody seems like that because already hand over to CCP region. So you should, CCP region, CCP government, you should let the people, the whole country or the Hong Kong people or the whole world know the reason. Why? Less than 1 year. Why around 7,000 people so-called suicide happened? Why? You are not a good government. You are not legally just doing something as a government, right? You are not responsible. You should provide Hong Kong people, Chinese people, the world people. What's the reason behind this happening?
And it also reflects that at least the place that people are living in is not making them happy, and it is not making them want to continue living. That's the core analysis you can at least get from the surface. Obviously, we know that, of course, the CCP must have had interference to make this happen. Doesn't matter in which way. Doesn't matter if it's from the virus or from their own personal
people has the right. People have the right to know everything happened because 7,000 people equals to 7,000 lives. Exactly. They are human beings. They are not numbers. Every single numbers only. So we should let our audience to think about this.
So Miles Guo also said, and now the world is saying that the virus originated from the CIA in the US. It traveled to Wuhan and killed people. Apparently, this virus can take a detour, going directly to Hong Kong to kill more people. But people there are just too resilient because they have suffered so much. So this AI virus took a U-turn back to Wuhan, and then after some more detours and turns, it ended up in Beijing, even reaching Zhuangnanhai. What is this?
This is really a big joke, right?
This passage is crazy.
They just make fun of the people and make fun of the whole world. And with days goes by, everyone got more information related with CCP virus. Last time, when we finished our live stream, this program, one of our audience leave some message, down below. And he or she shared the information already knew, because more and more information revealed in USA by this president, Mr. Trump. And the government got some fresh and new information revealed by some insider. That means for the whole pandemic, not only the CCP region involved deeply, or maybe the first party on behalf of it. Besides, some traitors in USA or some dirty, evil duck hands also play with CCP region together.
They have cooperated in making this virus.
Yes, you are right. So from this paragraph, if we use the information 6 years later, we already know, and match with the information from Miles Guo in 2020, 7th of March, in this paragraph, and you can understand the version just match and mix, and they can, jigsaw together to be a full picture.
I think what Miles Guo meant in this passage was he was describing how absurd a lot of the CCP's theories are. Like,
yes.
maybe this is kind of what the CCP proposed. Like, they were trying to tell everyone this virus came from the US, right? They were trying
Yes.
to take the blame off their head. They were trying to blame someone else, and they say they did this and they did that, and this traveled to Wuhan, somehow ended up in Zhongnanhai. And they would try to say, okay, so this is how it happened, despite it not really happening, but it's like
very
a car
confusing.
drive.
You
So it
just
messes with your logic.
make your whole brain work bending, and you cannot get the result. You cannot draw your own conclusion. What happened?
Yes.
What happened?
So I think
yes.
Miles Guo was highlighting the absurd facts, or the absurd reasoning that it would take for the CCP's words to actually be true.
Yes.
But it's all lies.
So
all lies.
propaganda plays very important role and make people's life very difficult and a challenge. But here in this paragraph, after 6 years, we know something. They are, very deeply to cover up their story, because we know US just have some, evil, dirty hands output their science and technology. They do build some P4 laboratory outside of USA, because they got a law and rules there, and they cannot, man-made or create some like CCP virus like this, easily or freely.
Sellouts from the US, and this small group, very small group of people have cooperated with the CCP to make a man-made virus that can harm people.
Yeah, CCP region is just one of the P4 laboratories they funded and helped use US taxpayers' money. So if we use Miles Guo's information in 2020 and we add some more information we get in this year, and we can know some big picture or some big supporting force behind the CCP region, and you got some more clear or more understandable, understandable picture in your mind.
Yes, it's like a jigsaw puzzle piecing together.
It's really difficult, right?
It is. But like we all know, it has to be a man-made thing, because a natural virus can't just like maneuver itself like a car driving through a road and take U-turns and take, all these things and specifically target one person or one group of people. That is,
you are right,
geographically unnatural. Look across China now. Not one of these machines, the cardiopulmonary bypass machine, the MRI machine, the color Doppler scanner, is made in China. Not one is manufactured by the CCP. And yet they say this is the greatest country. They say the virus was made in the US. The virus was simply made by the CCP.
Nowadays, everyone just know a lot of technology, a lot of high tech is stolen by CCP region. They send out a lot of spies, and they use a lot of clever, smart people go overseas and help them to get the information they steal from the countries outside.
The 3 machines mentioned in this slide is related to like different scanners that either use radiation or magnetic pulses to determine someone's heart rate or like their lung health. I think it's something related to this, but it really speaks to a lot of people that none of these things was invented by the CCP or manufactured by them.
Yes.
But because they always say in propaganda or in a lot of their advertisements, they say, oh, we're the greatest country. Of course they'll say that because they're a dictatorship. They have to.
That's propaganda.
They'll just
full of emptiness.
Yeah, they'll just spark themselves with glitter. But when you reveal what they have done, none of them matches to what they say.
Yes.
Which is very interesting, but it's simply what a dictatorship does. They are a mask, and everything they say, you just have to like look at it with a question mark inside your head.
Yes, you are right. I agree with you. And a lot of people nowadays, with the, days pass by and the time pass by, and they understand that they are just living in a country, not a great country, but the country put people's life easily to the end. And also, you cannot get any kinds of well-being, becoming well-being and beneficiary, protective stance around you. Even for this kind of, medical machines, because I got some medical experts in this field, and they keep telling me, actually, compared with high-tech countries, use not only for health field, actually we are really, really poor. Yes, I mean, at a very low level, got the not only the machine, but the human resources, but also any kinds of tools, even the medicine, they only can, import from overseas. They cannot
the Chinese
produce completely by itself.
Industry is very poor.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes, because we also want to reiterate that it's very different. The CCP does not represent the country, but they are what the world
only the
thinks
party
of right now. Yes, they are like they're on the seat. They have the control over the country, unfortunately, and they have led all of these disasters and horrible reputation and poor society and healthcare. It's simply a fact. Now, the country itself has a really great history. We both came from it.
Yes.
But the current government, which is the CCP, this current party, which the things they have done doesn't even qualify for themselves to be a government.
Just illegal one.
But we have to say
not,
this, they have caused
voted
so much,
by people.
They have caused so much disasters. We just have to say the facts. This is not to smear any single country or any nationality. Yes. This is saying the facts of what the CCP has done.
You're right. Yes, definitely, that's right. Because dictatorship regime cannot make the whole society keep being creative. The people cannot be freely to speak out. How can they be creative?
Yeah, so they can't have the energy or ideas to invent things, to innovate healthcare and project forward growth in a lot of aspects.
People full of worries, anxiety, pressure, how can they be, full of confidence and freely to do anything?
Yes.
That's why the so-called greatest country actually just full of emptiness and full of big lies. And they keep telling lies to people to brainwash all of the people in and outside of China.
Yes.
We don't like to buy it.
Just think of the type of language on a propaganda poster. Every time the CCP advertises something about themselves.
Yes.
So this is what we have seen.
Yes, we only got half an hour, so we cannot develop as we can.
But we'll continue sharing next time.
Okay, thank you very much. See you next time.